Hello and welcome back to another episode of
Makeup with Athena.
With me, Athena. Today we're going to be doing a Frutigeraero look. For those of you that don't know, Frutigeraero is an aesthetic that kind of encompasses the time period between 2004 and 2013. This aesthetic is basically all of those glossy, bubbly, kind of filled with fish water images and everything of the like on the internet that you saw between those times. And I have a lot more to say about that in my video essay, like a lot more. And I thought it would be fun to make my own version of that. So I did what I usually do when I do makeup looks, and I drew it. So this is how I actually plan out makeup looks, is I draw a face and then it's kind of like a digital mapping of the face. So yeah, this is what we're gonna be doing. Without further ado, let's get started. We are going to start this kind of half of the face is going to be like almost a normal face, and then we're going to do the wave right up here. I'm going to start with a layer of the white foundation as well as a layer of my normal foundation for over here. And I am just going in the vague shape of where I'm putting the wave. Just kind of following what I did on the drawing, and I think I will actually be putting it in a corner somewhere just so you guys can see the drawing and see what I'm following along to. But I remember some of my very first experiences on the computer were during this like time period when this was starting. And I remember when it first started going out, I was in middle school entering high school, and I remember the shift from like 2013 to 2015, those 2 years felt like such a huge cultural shift with just like design and everything going on during that time period. There we go. So we have like a basic shape, but we just want to get the entire shape in, and we are going to white out this eyebrow because we're going to be doing our eyebrows bright orange. I don't like the beige that's going on everywhere. I've had enough of it. I think we need to bring back things that are a little more experimental and fun. And don't even get me started on corporate Memphis. That is like my least favorite aesthetic in the entire universe, is corporate Memphis. It's bland, it's uninspired. I feel like it's unoriginal. Let's see, so we're gonna kind of bring it out, and it's gonna go almost into the center of the face. And the wave's gonna go through and it's gonna meet up. But the thing is, I'm doing a window screen, like a computer window screen. Like, if you guys wanna know what era of the internet I was on, I was a little bit too young for the MySpace era, because when people were doing MySpace, I was playing like Purple Place. And this is gonna be a really deep cut, especially for people who are not from Florida. But that Publix dinosaur game that you got on like the CD, honestly, I don't know, do you guys remember the CD games and then like the flash games that were everywhere, that if you played the wrong one, your computer got a virus? I love this aesthetic because it's colorful, it's vibrant, and honestly, considering it is, and it stemmed from a corporate art style, I'm pretty impressed with the creativity, because I think now we've gotten so used to like corporate art styles and corporate stuff being so bland. So we have the white base of what we're going to be doing, and now we can go into the other side with our actual foundation and our concealer. And this eye is going to be very simple to kind of counteract all the craziness going on the other side. So we're just going to be putting our concealer, and we're just going to dab with a sponge, and we're just going to gently tap that in. And now we get to move on to the fun stuff. We are going to go in with the wave and the little window first, and we're gonna have fish coming out. All right, so we have all of that, but we are going to actually be outlining this wave with a pencil. And this eyebrow, you're gonna go straight over. This eyebrow does not exist. This kind of reminds me of doing the Enderman thing, because it's a big square. I was planning on doing this without getting anything new, but I really felt like to do this look properly, I needed to make it a little easier or we would be here for 6 hours. You can, however, do this all with powdered products if you have the dedication for it. And you would just take a little flat brush like this and a little bit of water and eyeshadow, but I would definitely say going in with eyeliners and liquid and cream products is going to make your life so much easier. So I also have this blue foundation, and LA Girl makes these 3 things. I don't know why they don't make red, they should. So we're gonna go in with that. And this actually isn't as pigmented as you would think it is. It's not as pigmented as some of those ones I see online from other brands. We're actually going to mix this, the white and the blue, specifically because the blue is just too sheer and I want to start with the lightest color first on the wave. And we're gonna just fill that in. So now we can start going in with everything else. So I'm going to go in with a dark blue, and this is my darkest blue. It's an About Face, and it's just like a paint stick. It's the Fluid Eye Paint, but they're basically like paints for your face, except really high quality. And we're just gonna paint it, and then we're going to blend it out with the same brush that we used before. So you can see how vibrant that color gets when you start blending it. And we're just adding little lines up here. We're just kind of adding to the wave. And we're putting littler waves down here. And they're really making this window known right here. I originally was going to do the video essay while doing my makeup, but people wanted a tutorial of this, so I decided I was going to separate them. If you guys would prefer the format of me doing a video essay while I do my makeup, which means I won't be explaining how I'm doing my makeup, I would be more than happy to do that. But as of now, I've been really digging going by votes because it tells me what you guys are gonna watch, and I wanna make videos that are inspiring to me, but at the same time, format them in a way that is easy to watch and listen to. I do want more of an aqua color, and I'm trying to do as little green as possible in this look, simply because I know I'm going in front of a green screen fairly soon. But I'm gonna be using my Visart palette, and we're gonna be going in with these 2 colors right here on the edge. And we're just being very soft with it. We don't want to, be too harsh with it. Everything just felt so fresh and new and inspired back then. I don't really feel the same now, and I think that's because we're seeing a prevalence in AI, and AI is really just stolen content from everywhere, so nothing really feels new, and a lot of it just feels really low quality. We're going to give it another hit of the white foundation, and we're gonna go in with a flat brush this time. And you just want to fill up that square that you made. And again, this is not going to be the most accurate, but we're just gonna put them where you see fit. Don't overdo it, obviously. And there's going to be a difference between the bright and the soft white highlights. Just adding them wherever you think they belong. And you can't really screw this up. And we are going to go in with the base colors of right here. We're gonna have bubbles and fish coming out. So we're gonna block everything in. So the window is a light blue for the sky. I'm just taking this medium blue right here, and just kind of gently tapping it on with the same brush that we just did the white highlights with. We are going to leave a little room on all sides of the box for the window because we're going to have it look like a computer window. Then we're going to go in with green, which is spooky, I know, because I'm going to be using a green screen, so this is spooky. I'm going to try to make it a little more on the teal side just so I don't have pieces of my face floating into the abyss. So we are just outlining with the green pencil. So we're gonna take this about face and kind of load it up onto a thin brush right here because we're gonna draw the line around. And all of the early 2000s browsing windows on most things, especially Windows Vista, has the blue around it and then the like white gray. So we have that, and it kind of does look like a window already. We are going to be using the small remainder to kind of shade out the rest of the window. And we're shading in blue first because there's a wave behind, and it just makes sense. And then to further the shading, we are actually going to go very softly with a black eyeliner pencil. Extremely softly. So we're going to take this little brush and blend. Now it has that 3D look. We're going to be taking more white and redefining the window itself. Now that we have the window in there, we can start on the bubbles and the fish. We will be going back in with final details, but I think it's time to move on to some of the other pieces in this look. Before I move on with the bubbles and the fish, I feel like I really need to see the orange aspects of this look come out. And for that, I'm going to use a very, very orange lipstick. It's almost like neon, especially on camera. It's a little bit less vibrant in person, but it's Max Morange, and to find a good quality lipstick that doesn't have added fragrance in it, amazing. I did try it last night. This is one of the other things I got specifically for this video. I will be using it in other videos though too. The color's amazing, but I have to say I am extremely impressed, and maybe this is what happens when you start getting out of the drugstore range of makeup. And you start using like the big kid stuff, but the quality is just amazing. So we have our lips, and we are actually going to use the same thing. We're going to brush it into our eyebrows. We are going to put powder over both of these, but we're just filling this in with the orange lipstick. Now, if your eyebrows are lighter than mine, which they very well could be because mine are as dark as you can get before you get black. Like, it's a very deep brown, just like my hair. So now that we have that, we are going to go in and add in some powder. I'm going to be using this middle orange. And we're just going to tap it on in there. We are also going to be using a little bit of the yellow as well, to kind of get some dimension out of it. I actually want to continue on the window. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to take this shimmery NYX stick, and we're just going to glide it along where the window is because we want this to be glossy. That is one of the hallmarks of Frutigerero, is the glossiness. So be very, very generous with this. We're also going to add a little more to the waves. You will be able to see it when you move, and there's a little bit of a sparkle there now. This stuff can be used as highlight as well. This stick pen, this is like $3, I think. I honestly don't know how much it is now. I bought it like half a year ago. And once again, not sponsored. I am not sponsored with any of these products. This is just what I use. So I am just randomly placing this. And we are also going to use this sparkly stick for some of the bubbles, because it is pretty like translucent. So we're gonna kind of map out where we want the bubbles to go. And you can see it's starting to make like a difference. And by doing that, you just draw circles. Because even though the bubbles are gonna be like translucent, you still want them to have that sort of like sheen. Not Shein, Sheen. Don't shop at Shein. It's bad for the earth. Now we can go in with the white, which I still have a little bit on my hand, and that's what we're gonna use. So the bubbles, like the picture, are going to have a white outline. And this was a lot easier to do when I had it on my hand. You want to try to get this outline as thin as possible. And you can see that that outline is kind of bringing the whole bubble thing together, adding that skeuomorphism as we talked about previously. We're gonna do a little more. It's a lot more, okay. We will find somewhere to put it on my face. We're gonna do one right here, and one right here. Let's go back in and do those windows, those little like window tabs again. Because I know that we're gonna have a search bar up here. And the three little like, the X, the minimize, and the close, that was a huge thing. I haven't had a computer in a while. I know those are still a thing. I don't know if they're like as universally recognized. So now it's time for the reflections on the bubbles, and we're gonna go in on both sides. And we've decided with the waves that the light is coming in from here, which means the reflections are gonna go this way and this way. So we're gonna start with that. And the reflections are just two little lines like that. And then you're gonna wanna do ones on the other side, like one right there. And that really adds to the realism of the bubble. You can also do shading in there as well. And on the smaller bubbles, you just really need to go on both sides. And these bubbles especially look more realistic when you have a colorful, busy background going on. So we have our bubbles, and I decided I'm going to go in on this eye. I want to keep it really subtle. So what we're doing is we are just going to color all over it with this shimmer stick. I did want to add a lot of gloss to this, but I don't have anything super glossy. We're going to go in with the redacted palette and sweep some of that on there with the frosty white color. The only thing we are going to do to make this eye stand out is use a deep blue eyeliner for it. So once again, I am using this lid as like a little palette. So we're going to take that same teeny tiny brush that we were using with the white, and we're basically going to use this like a cream eyeliner. And we're just gonna draw straight across. We're gonna draw up for the wing, and we're gonna connect it in like a way that makes it straight. We don't want to have like a crooked or a curved wing. I also think that I do want to add a tiny bit of blush to this look, and we're going to do that with the same orange, just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. Now that we have that, we can move on to the fish, which I think is going to be my favorite part. We're going to go in with the smallest fish first, which is a clownfish. and the fish will get bigger as you go forward. So we had a clownfish, we had an angelfish, and then we had a bigger clownfish up here. We're just gonna kind of center it just a little more. We're gonna make him a little smaller than what I originally had planned for, because I don't want him taking up like all of the space. You still want to be able to see like the bubble and stuff. So we're just going in with a rough outline, and sometimes fish, when they're turning around, they kind of have like a look of like what a jelly bean would look like. Or really any kind of bean. I definitely remember one of my favorite things as a kid, and this definitely was Frutigeraero, was my parents when they had a computer, because back then, not every single child had their own computer in most households that I knew of. I can't speak for everybody, but we had the family computer. It was in like the computer room, but our computer room was a hallway that led to the bathroom. So there was this huge cabinet that stored this huge bulky computer, and it had this screensaver of an aquarium. And I remember I was so enamored with this aquarium, and when I was so little, when I was like 3, I thought it was real fish. I didn't think it was real fish in the computer, but I thought that they had went to like an aquarium or somewhere and taken these amazing videos of this fish. And I was so like, I did not realize that they were animations. It was one of my favorite things in the world. I honestly have even thought about doing an entire makeup look based on this one specific fish that I really liked from it, and I named it Experiment. It was this yellow and purple fish. The front half was yellow, the back half was purple. It was gorgeous. To this day, I probably still think about that like screensaver thing probably like at least once a month, which is a lot to think about a random like early 2000s screensaver, but I feel like that screensaver definitely was Frutiger. So right here on the nose, we are doing an angelfish. And the angelfish comes all the way out here. We want to try to get as much yellow in before it like blends and gets messy. So we've got the 2 wings right there. And I'll definitely be going over these with powder as well. But those are the outline of the fish. And now we can go in with our other things. I have like this eyeshadow stick that will help lighten it up just a little bit. And then we're gonna go in with some orange, and we're gonna be using the same brush that we did before. And we're gonna start going in with the very front of the face has orange. And we can also blend in some yellow into this orange as well. And this one's hard because it's really small. That one's not going to be nearly as detailed. Then we have this brush, which we're going to use for the angelfish. We're going to go back in with this neon yellow because this fish is bright. All right, so we have the bases of the fish. Now we can go in with the white. And we're just gonna take another little brush. And there we go. Adding in the white on this fish, even though it doesn't really have a bunch of it. I still feel like the wings would be a lighter yellow, like that. But they also have this like little rim of white around their fins as well. Yep. Now that we have the white on the fish, we're gonna go in the complete opposite direction and do the black outlines. Because yes, these fish on their white stripes have black outlines. I've even seen some that have more of black than the rest of the colors. I like to call those like emo clownfish or goth clownfish. We're just gonna kind of outline the rest of the look, as well as do the eye. Do the smallest details without getting super, yeah. Just like that. And we're actually going to divide these up right here as well. Because one of these is gonna be a red X. So we're gonna fill in that one. And do an X there. And then we're gonna do a green one. As well as this blue button, because I know that they had that blue button with the back arrow. It was a thing. There's the clownfish, there's the little clownfish. And we're gonna do the angelfish now. The angelfish has a blue little front to its face, and it also has some stripes. So we're gonna add those in. This look is coming along really well, in my opinion. And we're gonna do those little stripes. So now all I have left to do is lashes. And we're gonna do lashes like we normally do, with primer, mascara, and then I will be sticking on falsies because I feel like it will go really nicely with this look. And I feel like that already makes such a huge difference, and I feel like the falsies are gonna make an even bigger difference. All right, it is time for the lashes. So what I'm gonna do is the same thing. These are magnetic. So we're going to put a strip of the lash glue. You want to be careful not to get in your eye because this is probably going to ruin the entire makeup look. I will see you guys when my lashes are put in, and you will see the reveal. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to make a lot more of these very soon. But until next time, I hope that you have a day just as beautiful as you are. All right.